Hey everyone, this is Mr. Thacker. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate for you guys problem number 7. And to do that, we'll go ahead and get some information about problem number 7 for our isometric application. And so let's zoom in and take a look at it. All right. So what we need to know about problem number 7 is we need to know what the width, height, and depth are. Okay, so again, go to your front view first and count from one side to the other, and you will have from left side to right side, and you'll find that that is 10. Okay, and then we want to count the height. So kind of hard to count the height in the triangle, a little bit harder. Certainly you could go in and you could kind of box it like we have done with the multi-views in the past, and then you could count the side of the box. Or you can just count, this is the very top point, so you could count straight down from that and get the height that way, which is just as simple or simpler, and you don't have to kind of create the box. But the box can help you better understand how you're going to box it in isometric. So really it's just giving you a couple extra ways to look at the problem. Okay, so the height is 6. Okay, and then the depth is given either in the top view and also in the right side view, so you can see front to back. Remember, the front is closest to the front view, so that edge right there is close to the front view, so it's the front. Same here, the back is the furthest edge away from the front view. Okay, so we know that that is 4, so we'll jot that down. Okay, so now we're ready to box our object. To box our object, first we want to lay out the axes. So lay out our x-axis from the origin, our y-axis, and our z-axis. Okay. Okay, from that point, those axes allow us to count off of our width, our height, and our depth. Okay, so our width is total of 10, so it takes us to here. All right, our height is 6, so that takes us to here, and our depth is 4, which takes us to there. So remember, this x happens to be the bottom edge of our object, the y happens to be the right edge of our object, the right front edge, okay, and this happens to be the bottom of the right view or right edge. Okay, so we want to go ahead and create the left edge opposite that, so I'm just going to make a line like so. Okay, remember lines that are parallel to the axes are called isometric lines, and they're easy to create because I followed the axes. I'm going to rotate this one around so I can draw a line parallel to the x-axis, which represents the top, and then parallel to the z-axis, which is the top of my right side. So I'll go over here to the right side and create the back edge. Okay, right there. Now I have the front and I have the right. I want to get, and again, this is my box, not my object. And I want to go from this point parallel to Z. I can stay on the axis there, and parallel to X. And right there is my object boxed. Okay, so this is where we can start working on the shape. So the next step is to establish the shape of the object. And the shape of the object, if we go back to the problem, is a triangle. Okay, so we're trying to create this triangular shape. And all we've got to locate, we already have point 1, we'll call it point 1. You can certainly go in here and label these point 1, point 2, point 3. And we have point 1 and point 2. We need point 3. Well, point 3 is right in the middle, 5 blocks in. So I want to go to the top front. Okay, 5 blocks, and that's that point right there. And so this is where it's hard because you're drawing non-isometric lines, and to draw non-isometric lines you must locate the endpoints and connect, and they don't run along the grid, so it's kind of hard to draw these lines. So what you have to do is you have to aim at the endpoint. Okay, aim at the endpoint, and if you trust yourself, it'll work out well. If you don't, like I did on that first line, so I'm going to recreate that for you, I apologize, okay, then it doesn't work out as well. My eraser is not very effective. Okay, so anyway, we want to do a better eraser job than that. Okay, so right there's the line, and we're ready to roll from there. Okay, so let me see if I can find a better eraser. I'll take care of that later. All right, we'll just have to bypass that. So from here, this just gives us the edge. So what we've got is just the front here, and that's only one surface. We need to apply the third dimension, okay? So we don't fully have the shape. We have the front of the shape, but we need the shape in 3D. To get the shape in 3D, what you want to do is bring all your edges back, or corners back. So this one's already coming back, and remember, depth is on the z-axis. So I want to bring this point back, and I would want to bring this one back. But this one we can't see, so that's why I'm not drawing it. We can't see it because the object's solid. So we only need this one, and where it meets the back edge of the box, we need to connect. We need to connect our line, our point to point. Okay, again, you have to trust yourself in making that line from one point to another, okay, to do it effectively. All right, and that takes us to the next step. So now we've established our shape. You can see our triangular shape three-dimensionally in our box. We want to move on to the detail, okay? So there is a detail in this object, and that detail is this little notched cutout right here. And we can tell that it's a cutout because it's cut out of the right side view, and it's cut out of the top view as well, okay? So all that we know about this, we don't know its true width. I mean, you can kind of work that out, but you can tell its height. And if you know its height, then that works out its width for us. So its height is 3 blocks tall. So that means just count down from the top 3 blocks and make a line right through there. And what you'll find is that gives us 2 new points, okay, here and here. So there's our detail triangular, and what we need to do is give it depth as well. So the depth of that detail is 2 blocks deep. You can see that in the top view. You can also see that in the right side view. So I'm going to make lines going parallel to Z, just backwards, okay? Likewise, I'll do the same from here. If you notice, this is really close to that angular line that I already have, but they're not the same. And so be careful, because this is where it can look a little distorted. And then also we've got this line going back from the top corner back. So all I'm trying to do is locate those 3 points, and they're 2 blocks back. So I'll make a mark there, and then I'll go count these lines, lines that are parallel to X, these grid lines that are parallel to X, and that's 2 blocks back. So there's another point. So we've got like 1, 2, and then count back 1, 2, 3. Those are my 3 points. And what I want to do is connect those. So this one's easy because these 2 points exist right on the X-axis, need to be connected. And then I've got a non-isometric line right here, and a non-isometric line right here. Okay. Now you should be able to see, I'll darken that slightly. Now you should be able to see your object with the detail. All we need to do now is apply the 4th and final step, which is to darken the object. So to darken the object, I'll go ahead and start that process. Okay, rotate that around a little bit. And likewise, these non-isometric lines are difficult, but if you get them, if you feel like you're off a little bit, you can always erase and recreate. Hopefully your erasing doesn't work out as messy as mine does. Okay, and there's the object. Okay, so that's what the object looks like. Notice the object is in the box. You can still see the box lightly. All right, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for your box. I'm also looking for how you worked out the construction of the object, so you can still see my shape. All right, and then you can see what I've darkened as far as the object. So in the end, if this is one you want to render, of course you only need to render one, but if you wanted to render this one, then you could come in and, you know, apply a rendering. To this example. Okay, so maybe you go in that direction for these surfaces. And then for this surface, since it's a vertical surface, I like to do this just because of the orientation of the surface to make it look better. Okay, and got to decide kind of where my light source is coming from to determine what I'm going to darken, make a little bit darker. So I think I'll make this right side darker. So I'll do my strokes in the opposite direction. You can see how that's enriching the color. I think I'll do that also from the top as well. I think I'll go ahead and darken that. Okay, and then I will go over the right side again just to make it pop a little bit more. So this time I'm going at an angle. Okay, the key is that you change directions when you want to add value or darkness to a surface. You can obviously use different colors, as I had mentioned previously. We could shade each of these directions in a different direction. If you don't feel like that's enough, okay, you can always come the other way and really get it to change. I don't want you to spend an awful lot of time on this part of it, but you certainly want to make it appear more 3D. And the way you do that is through the shading. Okay? So that will be an example of a problem with non-isometric lines. There were certainly some isometric lines in there, but the non-isometric lines are at these odd angles, which are definitely more challenging to create. Okay, so locate the endpoints, then create the lines, and keep it light to get it right. Okay, all right, have a good day.